everybody to the second episode of the Triple Best Podcast. We are live to you tonight and just going to bring you the second episode. So real quick before we get started, tell me, what did you guys think about the first one? I know that we had a lot of good feedback. A lot of people liked what we were talking about and everybody enjoyed your story time. So you want to go through some feedback you had on it?
Yeah, it was fun to be able to talk about myself. I don't do that normally. I love the interaction. I love talking to Scott. I love interacting with you, Matt. I know we sit and talk for hours. So I mean, the biggest feedback I got is like it was kind of freeing to be able to talk about yourself. You know, to be able to put stuff out there about yourself, and you know, it's going to be fun when people start commenting. You know, like Will Carmona, this dude right here. I've got so many stories about going to a course with him. I think we were like SLC or ALC. So just the feedback I get, and the biggest thing I wanted to do was show the appreciation that I've had for all these people that I served with throughout the years. And that's the biggest feedback is people are seeing that. And they're seeing, you know, Got Your Six culture, you know, just a side of me that they probably never saw before, because what they probably saw was either the angry Sergeant Cobb or the completely obsessed with, you know, I got to get ready for the next deployment, Sergeant Cobb. So that's what I took from it.
There you go. What about you, Scott?
I hear somebody's TV. That's all I can hear. I don't know whose TV it is, but I can hear somebody's TV.
That's somebody listening to us on the TV. You didn't know that? I
don't know. I just heard it. I was just saying. I heard the TV. No, I'm just kidding. I got to do that. But for me, man, I just I'm the same. I'm the same as Todd, man. I just think that it's cool. One, to get with my brothers and just be able to put something together again. I think we are all creators of our own right, and just being able to create something that's ours, create something that's fun, interact with the people outside, and hopefully, you know, be able to give something that someone else there can use, man. Just having this platform has just been amazing. It's just something I've always wanted to do. And now we're here, we're live, we're getting the bumps in the road and fixing them and straightening them out. And I think this thing is going to be pretty dope, man, once we get it to where it's like, wham, and we just, you know what I mean? I'm just excited. So yeah. I'm here for the ride.
For sure. No, it was a good first show. I think that everybody liked hearing your story, Ty. It's good to sometimes hear some things about people you didn't know, and so I think there's a lot of people that heard about that. And, you know, going into that, you know, first, let's see, what is Will saying?
What made you the professional you are now?
I don't know about being a professional beyond the military, but we'll get into it.
You gotta have Ty unmute yourself.
Yeah. Tonight, what's very, very exciting though is going through with this journey. We know a lot of people, and we're very, very fortunate to welcome another host to the show. Somebody that we all know pretty well. Somebody that brings the same kind of knowledge and passion to help people and get information out there. So I'd like to introduce before we.
Is that who I hear making all that noise in the back?
Yeah, it might be. It's like he's like the Red Bull. TV because he's like the Red Bull of the crew. You know what I'm saying? He's like the Red Bull guy of the crew. It had to, you know, before we bring him, we had to bring it in how it was, right? So this guy that we're bringing in, I knew through conversation that this was something that he wanted to do too, right? And then at one point, I think it was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do my thing, you know, maybe do this over here. It's like, you know what, nah, it wouldn't be right. It's only going to be right. It's the only thing to do to bring another brother together in this thing and pop this thing off to where it's supposed to go. So hey, I'm ready, man. I'm ready for it. Ty, I know Ty's ready. When he has that little smirk on like that, I know he's ready to do it.
I'm ready. I'm about to push this damn button. Matt,
let's hit it up. Let's do it.
Without further ado, Mr. Albert Hero. Hey, really? You got your back turned to everybody?
Turn this way, sir. We're over here.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, there he is.
Welcome to the crew, Al. Tell everybody a little bit
happy
about
to be here.
Real quick before we get
quick,
into
short
it.
and brief. I'm a Sagittarius. Long walks on the beach. Love the Notebook. Served in the Navy for about 22 years almost. came in as started us with a CB, went into their SRT program, did a bunch of deployments, couple down range, Korea, you name it, been there, done that. Loved every minute of it. And now here I am sitting on the other side of the fence where I really feel like the grass is greener, and really enjoying retirement, enjoying the transition and kind of where I'm at now in my life. So that's about it. I mean, the short and sweet and to the point, Matt, right?
That's right.
I'm 6'2". Right. Shout out to my son who just let's go, Pops. I got you, bro.
There you go.
Oh my goodness, yes, we're in here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, well, welcome, Al. We're excited to have you. It's going to be good now that you have the fourth to the group. It's going to be, I don't know, maybe we're going to be like the Beatles.
Stand up. Let me see how excited you are.
I don't know. Everybody say how excited you are, then Dash or two or anything.
Got it from your sister.
Yeah.
She's still here. You want to talk to her?
Yeah. Put her on.
Not you.
Yeah. So here we are, man. All four of us are here. This is it. Live in
So
effect.
last week we talked about me, and then this week we're supposed to be talking about Matt. So Matt, why don't you start off with a little bit of your story, personal, and then into your military career?
Yeah. So I was born in Texas. And I was a military brat, so I moved everywhere, all grown up throughout my life, including being in the military. So moving for me was something that was very normal, but I grew up in Texas and we moved all over the country, lived in Germany for a bit, wound up coming back to Texas to graduate high school. And, graduating high school, everybody is trying to figure out what they're going to do. I wanted to go to college, right? Well, that probably wasn't going to be the smart thing to do. So I did like most people in the hometown did. I joined the Navy, but interesting story there is a lot of people out there might experience this. So if you're in the Air Force, you might want to mute it for a minute. I went to see the Air Force recruiter 3 times, showed up 3 times. And lo and behold, what recruiter is always in the office looking for the next opportunity?
Me?
Your recruiter. So I walked in the door, talked to them, joined the Navy in 1996, went to boot camp. Served in the CBs. I was there for about 5 years. Right at 9/11 is when I went into recruiting duty. Didn't realize that recruiting duty is one of those essential functions. Looking back on it now, going into recruiting duty, you have a lot of friends that are going other places, but the whole point there was to help people enlist and serve and protect our country. So went into recruiting duty, wound up being way better at that than I was a CB. I know Al can relate to that. And just stayed in recruiting for the duration to help people, get a career, change their lives. And then after, 20 years, 22 and a half years, retired. And now I'm retired, doing everything that I'm doing now. I got a lot of things going on, but, throughout the whole time that I was in the Navy, for the majority of it, I do want to recognize a couple of people that have helped me get to the place that I am. One of them, the most important, is my wife. Rebecca, she's been there for everything. She went to every place I asked her to move. She had never lived anywhere except her hometown of New Orleans when we got married. And when it was time to leave, she left and came with. And my daughter Sierra, my son Cole, they've been on the journey with us the whole time. So I really appreciate everything they did to allow me to serve, be in the military, do all the things that I did. And so now that I'm done, we're trying to give back to them. And so, I'm just proud of being a part of their life and helping them grow. I got a daughter that's going to be a neuropsychologist. She's going to help all of us. She's almost done. So y'all set your appointments. And I have my son's going into a sophomore year.
Why is everybody so quiet? Because they know we're going to need her. So we need to support her education, make sure, because we all need her.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. And so been married for 20 years. One time. Right, Al? Just once. And then, coming out of the Navy, the biggest thing for me, I don't know, everybody else probably experienced the same thing, is I worked as a recruiter. So I thought I was going to get a job paying $300,000 a year if you heard people talk. So trying to find a job, it was very hard to do. But the thing that I noticed is if I stuck around groups of veterans and just stayed in that network, you seem to always come out on top, if that makes sense. You're still able to do the things that you want to do. And so, I did a lot in my Navy career for helping people get to where they needed to be. I helped them join the military. I was in the CBs, learned how to do construction. Just like Al had said earlier, we both served in the CBs. I ran the equipment. He fixed it when I broke it. But the biggest thing for me and the most exciting thing for me has been since retirement. It was a hard transition for sure. But now I get to be on a podcast with Scott, Al, and Ty. We get to talk to people in the future that are going to be important to help other people if they need it, and just sticking around that network of veterans. And so that's been the most impactful thing for me. My wife and I have started a t-shirt company. I'm wearing a design. Al's wearing a design. Ty's wearing a design. Scott's not there yet because he's got to play the music for everybody when we get there. But
man, I tell you what, I've got about 35 of these shirts,
yeah.
And so I've got probably 2 or 3 of every type. So I love them. Thank you very much.
Ty's our brand ambassador. So if you have any questions about what we do and what we're about, you can reach out to him, DM him, whatever you got to do. But he'll tell you all about it.
I got a bunch too. They're good shop rags. They're freaking phenomenal shop rags.
You can wax the car with them. You can clean the rims. It's all good.
Wipe it off. Wipe some other stuff off people's backs and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So we started that company. A lot of what we do with that company is to help veterans and help first responders. We donate money back on co-branded shirts. We do a golf tournament every year that raises money. Anything and anyone we can come in contact with to help. That's been kind of my mission of coming out of the military, because my biggest thing was coming out of the military, you're not in charge anymore. You don't have people to help. You don't have people that you can get to the next level, right? There's nobody that needs you, right? There was a lot of people that needed us while we were in. And so the thing that I found is, Becky's been the biggest champion of that with me is helping veterans and first responders and making, their struggles known and helping them out. So that's really the most important thing that we're doing right now. That's what I feel is the biggest cause or champion that we're doing. And, everybody that's in this podcast with right now has had an impact on that. You guys have helped us from the start, and, we really appreciate it. But other than that, it's just like you, Ty, grow up in high school, you do crazy things, but I think the biggest thing for me is I'm focused on the next chapter, which is this, and helping people, doing a podcast, and growing a t-shirt brand, or just helping people in general. That's the most important thing.
So, question for you, Matt.
Oh, I got a question too.
Yeah. Well, you go. No, you go ahead, Ty. Hit him quick. I know you're waiting. Go ahead and hit him.
All right, because mine's probably not going to be as serious as yours. Hey, how much time did you spend on a boat, man?
I spent. Hold on. Let me count how many minutes each tour was that I took on a boat. Hold on. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours.
I think this is hilarious that when we first met each other.
Hey, don't be mad, Scott. Listen, you remember when you were in the Navy, they said choose your rate, choose your fate. So I'm going to tell you, when I went to join the Navy, I sat down with the job guy and I said, I'll do anything you got in the Navy. I just don't want to go on a ship. And that dude looked at me and he goes, you're joining the Navy, right? I said, yeah, but I don't want to go on a boat. So he showed me a card, which was CB's, and that thing said 75% land, 25% sea for a 20-year career. And I was like, I'm in.
I don't do math, but that seems pretty good. But my dad would call you like a dirt. You ain't real, bro. You ain't real salt. You ain't real salt, bro. You ain't real Navy. You don't bleed blue. I'm not. This is you, Matt. It's me. Don't bring me into your problems, okay?
Well, you got to remember, Al. You got to remember, he was going to the Air Force 3 times before he even came to the Navy, so he wasn't looking to get on the ship.
I was trying to take the easy way out, but they wouldn't do it.
Scott, he ain't had an ASVAB score. They probably denied him. Like, sir, try the Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy. And he was like, I'm not strong enough for the Marine Corps, the Army, so this will work.
Probably right.
100% correct. 100%. I might even get a waiver or something when I join. I don't know.
What I was going to ask you, Matt, is this. So you said in the beginning, like you urged to want to serve because you actually went to the recruiting station. Whether it's Army, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, wherever you want to go, you knew at a young age coming out of high school that you wanted to serve. What is it about service, or what was it about the military that made you feel like that was something that you wanted to do?
So what's really interesting is growing up, being in a military family, I had my dad was in the Air Force, my stepfather was in the Army. And the majority of the time that I spent in a military family was in the Army. So what I saw all the time was he had to leave and go away and do all those things. So growing up, I was that typical kid, right? And I was like, I'm not going to join. I'm not going to do any of that. You know, he always gone, always away. I'm going to go to college and do all that stuff. But then as time came on, I initially joined the Navy for what everybody says they join the Navy for, to go to college, right? Or get away from your hometown or whatever that would be. But then after I was in the Navy for, 2 or 3 years, and you go back and you look on just the places that you go and the things that you do and the training that you are a part of and the people that you meet and starting to learn that you're working with a whole bunch of people that are not like you, but they're like you now, right? Everybody's for that same cause. They're for that same reason. They're all, they're to protect their country, right? Keep their families free. And so I don't think that I'm not the guy that gives you the story that I always knew that I was going to serve in the military. I don't think I know that's not something that was for me, from seeing it growing up. But after joining and being a part of that and starting to get into that military mindset and working in that for 3 years, 4 years, that went by really fast. And then you're like, what am I going to do? Like, I need to stay in, right? Because what are you going to do? Didn't go to college, didn't do none of that. And so I found out real quick that I thought I joined the Navy because I wanted to get a college degree. But looking back on it, I probably joined the Navy because I saw the example that my dad and stepfather gave me, and they were serving their country. And they were, you're around military guys all the time when you're a military brat. So you see all the stuff that they're doing. And, and keeping in mind, this is all pre-Gulf War, and it's not really what it was when we were in, right? There wasn't that long instance of, going to Afghanistan and Iraq. So really you're just seeing guys that they're there because they want to be there, right? And, you get in and 5 years after being in, 9/11 hits, and then you realize like, well, that's completely why I'm here too, is because I want to be here, right? Otherwise you would have ran away. And so I don't know if it was I'm destined to do it, but I'm proud of what I did, and I'm glad I did it because I feel like it's brought me to the point where I'm at now, to go into that future of myself and going forward with my wife and us helping everybody that we're trying to help, whether veterans or first responders, and giving them the recognition they need, helping guys that need more help than me, right? I may not need all the help that they need, but if I can help them find those avenues to get there, then that's what I want to do. But I know if I wouldn't have joined the military and served, I probably would have a very selfish outlook and mindset to how that works, and be all about me. I wouldn't be as worried about, others as I was. And that's just what the military instilled in me, is you're there to help people, and that's what came first over whatever I wanted to do, like you're there just to serve.
Right.
So to follow up with Scott's question, Matt, so, I know I gave you a lot of shit, but my hat's off to you and a lot of what Ty, you guys do for veterans. But I will say, I know you talked about your daughter, Sierra, and I remember when she was a little tiny old tyke, right? Painting pictures and right. So what she's doing, I think, and I know you talked about it a little bit, but I really want to commend her, and my hat's off to Sierra for what she's doing, because a person who's been through the whole mental health gauntlet and the combat PTSD, and I'm sure Ty can relate, been through that PTSD gauntlet and been through where the military, here's another pill, here's another pill, here's another pill. Right. To have somebody who actually is going into that field and wants to help, it does matter, because I tell you what, I spent years just, choking down pills with whatever liquor was the flavor of the month, right? Until some civilian doctor or some doctor was like, hey, let's get you right, inpatient treatments and different things for TBI and things. That stuff does matter. So I really want to give her a shout out and say, hey, hats off to what she's doing, because it does matter especially for the veteran community, because it's such a touchy subject, right? And Ty, he was in the Army, he gets it. If you rely on all them post-deployment surveys, everybody does, right? Everything's good, I'm perfect, right? You do that so you can continue to operate, you continue to deploy. So yeah, it's a big deal when you talk about Sierra and what she's doing, because I know I think you told me she's gonna do a residency at a VA hospital, which is huge. I mean, it's eye-opening. Hell, we made Chief, bro, and shit. we went to veterans homes and different things and got to see it from the other side. And any one of us on this podcast or anybody watching could have been in that situation where you didn't have the resource, you didn't have the help. So, props for, I still think you're a bitch, but it's all good. But props to you and Ty for all y'all do on that veteran front, man, because it does matter, bro. Trust me. From a guy who's at an inpatient facility and was like, I've always been crazy. Like, you can't fix me, right? To now, it's a big deal, bro. So, my hat's off to Sierra. If she got a boyfriend, if she got a boyfriend, because I've got sons that are looking for hot chicks. So
she's spoken for. Sorry.
They don't care. They're good with that. You know what I'm saying? My son Austin, the more the merrier, bro.
I don't think Corey's going to be too happy that you're trying to set her up like on a date right now. But I will tell you that just watching her grow up and getting into that field, for a long time, she wanted to do like art, like you said, how she can draw and she can paint. She's just like her mother. She's very creative. Becky can paint like nobody I've ever seen. Like, I didn't know that she could paint that good. And then pandemic hits and she starts painting pictures and drawing pictures. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. Like, you hear things until you see somebody do it, it becomes different. But Sierra also wanted to go in to help people like in an art kind of way. Right. And that just didn't pan out. But then she kind of got to this realm where she started to look at the neuro side of things and, what makes people make those decisions, what makes them do that. And so she's worked really hard to get into that. And I mean, I'll tell you, like, I think I don't know, there's like 8 or 9 VA clinics that she applied to do her clinical, the next thing she's going for. And she got in, she's going to go do a VA clinic and do her residency there. And she's going to learn and do research over there. And it's going to be very impactful to help veterans. And I mean, it's admirable to see somebody at that age go in to want to help people in that realm, right? They talk about that stuff a lot. It's something that I don't understand, right? I don't understand it. Sometimes I don't get it. Sometimes I don't get it to a point where it's probably obnoxious, but then to hear her talk about it, sometimes you have to sit back and listen and understand that there's a whole bunch of different sides. So I'm really proud to see what she's doing. I'm happy that she's following that dream, right? And sometimes it's been hard, you've got to get through that and you got to be, far away from home, but she's made it through. And so I'm excited to see what's next. So
yeah, she got it, man.
It does help that she has a daddy with a big bank account.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
only if you paid that alimony this month, dude.
Bro, I'm so behind on child support checks, bro. You ain't even know. You know what I'm saying, dude? I don't even know, dude.
Hey, look, shouts out to Tim Finnan. I seen Tim pop through.
Yeah. Tim Finnan.
Yeah, what's up, Tim? How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Oh, brother Finn, man.
Yeah, man.
So Matt,
Hey, what you?
I'm sorry, man. I got to keep you there for just a second.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because I see what you're doing here. You know what I mean? And I know Ty now see it too. See, we're talking about you. You know what I mean? And I know you want to
deflect. He deflected.
Yeah, he wanted to deflect. He deflected a little bit. You know what I mean? Shouts out to Sarah. We love
I want to talk about you.
But this is the thing. I want Matt. I got to get you, man.
Sure.
Tell me, like, okay, so what keeps you up at night, right? Because this is the thing. Since I've known you, you've always had this certain kind of drive. There hasn't been anything that I've seen somebody tax you with that you haven't been able to do. I've never heard you say, nah, I can't get that done. Nope, that's not happening. You know what I mean? I've never seen it. That's me. I don't know if Ty or Al have, but I've never seen that, right? I've seen you just go hard no matter what it is. If it's T-shirts, you're going to be up in the middle of the night to do that, to get it done. When you did stuff for me, you was like, hey, bro, I got you. And then I never had to go check to find out when you're going to do it, when you make the deadline, right? But what is it that gives you the drive? Was it what you got from the military, or is it always in you? That's one part of it. But the other thing is, like, what keeps you up at night? Like, what drives you to where you feel like you're just not done, to where you keep pushing and pushing and pushing?
Oh, that's a good question. I think sometimes that's hard to give an answer to, because you would say that what keeps you up at night are the things that keeps everybody up at night, right? Safety and freedom and all these different things. But I mean, when it comes to just all the stuff that you do, to a detriment. There's a lot of times where I want to help a lot of people, or I want to be reliable. I want to be somebody that someone can rely on. And so some of that stuff, that's what that drive is like never wanting to let somebody down, or, like being in the military and serving in the military and climbing that ladder and going as far as you did, right? Like you do it so that other people can see what you're doing. But then there was also a part of that, like, I wanted my kids to look back and see the things that I did, and my wife to look at that, and I wanted them to be proud of what I was doing. And so, I will tell you that there's probably a lot of times where you go do that, and it is at a cost, right? It is at a cost. But what keeps me up at night, is, safety of my kids. My daughter lives far away. Like, what if you can't get to her? What if there's something wrong? My son now is off in college, right? Who knows what he's doing? Like, he's doing whatever.
We know what he's doing. Oh, we know. We know.
I don't even want to think about that. But then, at the same time is too, like with my wife and I, it's like, how can we go into the next phase of what we're doing? Are we going to be able to go and doing that while you're trying to figure out how you make sure that everybody that you have provided for your entire life can still have what they need? And so there's a lot of stress in that sometimes. So sometimes you push too much and you go too far and you do too many things. And sometimes you think it's like, I got to do it. But then at the same time, there are times where you can slow down. My wife tells me all the time to slow down. And Becky tells me, I gotta stop sometimes and look at what's there. And, it's been really hard for me coming out of the military, because you always had something to do, right? There was always a problem, always. You could go to bed, wake up, go to work, there's a problem. You already know. And so coming out of the military, again, all that stuff stops. And so now you're like, what's my value? What's my worth? What am I going to do? There's been a lot of times where, are you good enough to do this thing? Or are you good enough to do that? Why can't I find, like coming out of the military, why can't you find a job? That transition was really hard. And so there's a lot of times where the things that keep me up at night are the things that probably shouldn't.
Gotcha.
It's the simple things that keep you up. It's the things that you can't control. And for whatever reason, you feel like you have control while you're in, right? When you're in the military, when you're serving, if you're, we were chiefs, and, you have your sailors, and you have the people that you take care of, and you have the people that you mentor, you're there to help them. So there's purpose there. So that there's never a thought or a doubt, right? People need you. When you get out, nobody needs you.
Well, they need you. It just might not be at the same. We might not feel it's at the same level, because the need that they had then made sense, right? Because we knew that there was a training instruction, or there was something that we can use to give them the help that they needed, based off of, our history and where we came from coming up in the military. When you're out in this big world of so many people who have never served or never experienced that level of camaraderie or that level of leadership, it is a big void there, because there's a lot of things that we don't understand coming out that just, things make sense to us in the military. And there's so many things outside of it that don't. And it's funny how we forget that we used to be civilians before we joined.
Well, but that's the journey now, right? And that's the other part of what keeps you up at night, trying to do as much as you can to help other people. But my biggest thing that I need to work on is like slowing down. Like that's where I'm right now. If you were to look at everything that I'm doing, I do a lot of stuff, but I need to figure out how to slow down.
You can't, bro. It ain't gonna. I've known you for a long time.
It's the hardest thing for me, but I need to do it because it's important.
Right.
And I feel like doing something like this and talking every week and talking to other people, and I've done a podcast in the past, and talking to those people that started businesses or people that do different things, or even fellow veterans that have served. When you hear their story and the things they're doing now, and you kind of get some of those stories of how they slowed down or what they're doing now or how they made it work, it kind of makes you realize that sometimes less is more. But still having that military mindset, for whatever reason, you did it for 22 and a half years, nothing is ever enough, right? And so that's the challenge, right? I guess that's what would keep me up at night, is like trying to figure out what's enough, when to stop, when to slow down, when to do it, the right or the wrong way. And so that's been my Achilles heel, I guess you would say, is trying to get to that point where, remember, you can smile, you know what I mean? You can be happy, you can hang out, you can do these things. And if you don't do it today, now it's okay, but you still don't feel like that's okay. You know what I mean? And so it's just been a little bit of a struggle, getting better, Not good at it yet, but you know.
Yeah. Yep.
I got a question for you, Matt. I got a question for Matt.
Go ahead.
So, 2 questions actually, 2-part question.
Okay.
So, first question, and you can answer them. You can answer them together if you like. I don't care. Right. So, first question is your favorite military memory. Your favorite besides meeting me and let me train you up, hold your hand. And my second one, are you a boxer or a brief guy? Me, I'm a Navy guy, so I'm a boxer on backward type of guy. We all know why. So I just want to know. Yeah. Are you favorite memory and boxer brief, bro?
Okay, so first
boxers on backwards.
No, first it's boxers on front because they let you breathe. That one's easy.
Yeah, but then they got to tear them off when they want to get to you. I don't understand what your problem is, bro. We've discussed this, but
I don't know who you hang out with tonight, but I think April's gonna have to start putting that life 360 check on you.
Who's April? Don't be telling me I'm married. I'm trying to meet a boyfriend out here. What are you talking about?
There you go. So my I don't know, favorite memory. That's hard to quantify in one, right? Because you did so many things, right? You go to boot camp and you graduate. You think that's the pinnacle, right? And then for sailors, the biggest pinnacle that you can make is to become a chief petty officer, right? To go through that season and become accepted and become a chief, right? And that was a very important day. But military memory, I think for me, it's not one specific memory, but the thing that I valued the most is when you would have guys in the chief's mess that would retire and they ask you to be a part of it. So they ask you to celebrate their career and help celebrate their family. And the biggest honor is to be a coordinator for that, to help plan their send-off and make them make it special for everybody that's around. So things like that, for me, the favorite military memories is being a part of the Navy, probably arguably the service that still holds tradition to the highest level that it can. Like we still do things that are from the 1800s, making senior chief and my kids penning me in New Orleans was huge. Because that's something that all of us never thought we'd get to, right?
Yeah.
You work so hard to get there and so many things happen, but to be able to my kids watch me make chief, but then to get penned and make senior chief in New Orleans where I got married, where my kids were born, that was
I was there.
Special time for sure.
I was there with you. And just so you know, I was there, bro. And I did talk a lot of shit behind your back and hating on you about how you didn't deserve it and it should have been me. I did. I just want to clear the air. I did talk about
everybody
shit
does that.
when nobody was around. I was like, screw Matt Johnson. Like he ain't shit. I did bash you.
That's okay. We can still be friends.
Okay, it's cool.
We can still be friends. But I think that's the deal. And I think just those kind of things. I don't think there's not one thing I did in the military where I could say that's like the ultimate thing that you'll remember forever. I think it's a culmination of things. I think it's promotions. I think it's people that you've mentored and trained and seeing them get promoted, right? Like people as a recruiter you put in the Navy and then you see they're making chief, right? It's like trust in even numbers, like Tim says. You can always that's 100% true. But I mean, it's the relationships, it's the people that you've met, and really for me, it's just those memories of like helping people and seeing, people finish a career, seeing people get promoted. Like I don't have like a one memory where I can be like, oh, this one time we did this. Like it's just, I don't think for me.
Are you being politically correct right now, Matt?
No.
Get him, Scott.
I mean, I could be politically correct, but I don't have one. I mean, I was a recruiter. I helped a lot of kids change their life. So, I mean, for me,
thank you, Megan.
Person that you helped get in.
So, Matt, I got a question for you because somebody just scrolled one across the screen. I missed it a minute ago, but somebody wanted to know, just from our perspective, what direction do we see the military going in? I know it's a very difficult question to answer because there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things are going on, not just in the military, but in society as a whole. But just curious to see what your thoughts are on what direction you think the military is moving in.
Well, to be fair,
politically correct, the right direction.
There you go, Scott.
Well, to be,
we're going to hell in a handbasket. We're going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah. So for me, I am the guy that when I was in the military, right, you would see all these old timers that would get into these chats or whatever, and they would see how chiefs are doing things today in the Navy in that time, and they would be talking shit about, oh, they don't know how to do it the right way, right? And so when I first got out, I would see things and I would go, oh my God, we're screwed, right?
You're the old timer now. That's what you're
I
saying.
am. Okay. But here's what I've done. And I don't even pay attention to it. I let those guys do what they're going to do, and I let them move forward. I really don't. I don't watch all that stuff. I don't want to pay attention to all that stuff that's going on. I don't want to know how they're doing it now. I don't want to know where it's going, because I really want to feel like I trust that they're just going to do what they need to do. I've already done that. I've done my time. I've been the guy that had to help make those decisions and lead it to the future. And so I really just try not to pay attention to that. Like 100%. I don't want to. I don't want to be the dude in Varsity Blues going back to the high school party with my letter jacket on and being like, yo, I played quarterback in '73. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to let them go forward and do their thing. I want them to forge their path, And if
that's not considered cool to do that?
Huh?
Ty, is that you, Ty? Letterman jacket. Got that Letterman jacket on, cool? Some tight roll jeans on. Got them tight rolls every day, baby.
Man, I walk up in them places like Stone Cold.
hey, first of all, Matthew and Ty, I got 2 GEDs, so let's not worry about high school, okay?
You got 2?
Yeah, the first time I didn't like my score.
Google me.
Did you cheat on the first one and they said you had to retake it?
No, I have a friend of mine take it for me. How you passed the ASVAB? You had somebody else take it for you. I
just took the ASVAB. They said we'll try to get you in. Good luck.
And that's it's a great answer, Matt. What I would say is I still believe that there's warriors, and it makes me want to throw up a little bit when I think about my kids, because they're not warriors, right? But I really think that deep down inside of even the young generation that's coming up, there are still war fighters that are being bred by dads like us and men and women like my wife and your wives and Scott's family, right? I still think that deep down inside, we do have warriors that are serving on the front lines right now, whether it's Army, Marine Corps, even the Coast Guard, whatever. Just kidding. Boy Scouts, whatever, right? No, just kidding. But I believe it too. I think that, my dad was the same way. My dad said the same thing. Like the Navy's different. It's changed from where he was in back in the day, right? And we're doing the same thing. But I do still think that there's still people who are patriotic and want to fight and love this country and want to put like we did. We donned the cloth of this nation every single day, as many of the people watching this podcast did. And it's a proud moment to button them khakis up every day, or to put on, those digis every day, and polish up those boots. There's still people I wholeheartedly believe or hope at least that there's still people out there that aren't just playing Call of Duty. So that aren't just playing Call of Duty and hiding behind a video game, but are still willing to strap them boots on and run towards danger if need be. I think it's still there. It's still in us as a society. We just somehow got to find it. So I think the direction the military is probably going in not the direction that I would agree with right now, or that I would want, to be honest with you, being an old salt, right? The old dirt sailor. But I still think
so. Like that when we were in, when we were in, and we were young, all of our chiefs or first sergeants or the people that were leading us,
our gunnies.
I don't know how many times I heard them go, when you guys get where we are screwed. Yep. There's no way we're going to go forward, right? And so now if we look back at that, we're now starting to go, oh my God, we're screwed when this happens. And so that's why I tell you that, like, I try to stay away from it, because we got the chance to do what we needed to do and we were just fine. But here's the one thing everybody remembers: it's the military. So they have a plan. They have a way that they do things, and they're going to be able to, move forward. It's going to be okay. But there's a lot of things that you'll see that we don't agree with, right? It's a different time too. We also, I don't even know what that was. What is that?
I got to, as soon as you're done, I got to tell you.
Put it back up.
Oh yeah. Come on, Ty. We want to hear this, because I want to know.
He said, Will Kimona said, I'm my brother and sister's keeper, and I will ask anyone to step outside. Ask Ty. Ty, he took you outside.
Ty, you got your ass whooped one day.
He took you outside, Ty.
No, that didn't happen. No. Not even close. Man, you should have seen this crew we had during, I think it was SLC, but it could have been ALC. I think you remember last week I told you I went to all three. I got a sequence number for Sergeant First Class without even going to WLC. So I had to go to all three of them, like back to back to back. in order to be considered for master sergeant. So anyway, and then Will Carmona is the chief now. He was a staff sergeant, I believe, when we were at this school. So it's probably SLC, we'll say. And, I was PCSing from Fort Campbell to come to White Sands Missile Range, where I thought I was going to be getting a break. So I was ready to have fun because I did WLC, 7 days later did ALC. Okay, well then if it was ALC, then Chief, then that's why I was probably ready to party, because I had just finished WLC 7 days earlier, and then I went to ALC. So anyway, whatever happened with the party, we were walking it out, everything in school there at Fort Gordon, Georgia. Somehow, where did we end up? Anybody know where we ended up when we were in Fort Gordon, Georgia?
Probably a strip club, in the Army.
No, we ended up at a Waffle House, right?
Even same thing.
Same thing.
All the waitresses.
Waffle House strip club. Yeah,
I'm from Georgia, so all the waitresses at Waffle House are strippers on the weekend.
Yeah, they twerkers.
It's the same thing, bro.
Twerking while they make your egg. Absolutely.
That ilk of people, right? So we were there, and we had a huge crew. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but someone was either trying to flirt with or hit on one of the girls that was in our group, that was in our class or whatever, or had some beef with somebody that was in our crew. I don't remember exactly what happened, but somehow they got to the point where they were talking at the same Waffle House table, and they were like, you ready to do this? Are you ready to fight? And Carmona was like, I'm tired of this, and came over and was like, excuse me, you want to step outside real quick? And he was about to take him outside and beat the brakes off of him, but the guy saw his ill ways and changed. But that whole crew, we were doing some kind of golf stuff at like 8 o'clock in the morning. We were wasted. It's when that Apply song, get wasted, like the white boy wasted or something.
Yeah.
Man, wake up in the morning, whole class wasted.
Yeah, that Gucci man
drinking Zambuca, milkshakes.
Yeah. So what you saying is Will about that life.
Carmona is.
Yeah, hey, Will seemed like
Will sound like he ready to be out. He ready to dance outside.
I like Will. I don't even know Will, but I want to go to Waffle House with Will and just start cracking heads. I'm gonna run my mouth. Will's gonna fight him. Right, that's how we roll, right? That's what we do.
I mean, that class made such an impression on me. I still have pictures that I'll treasure for the rest of my life. Just the memories of that. We were cleaning up some golf thing there at not Augusta National, but Fort Gordon, and we just had fun at 8 o'clock in the morning cleaning a golf course for our community project. That's how awesome these guys were.
Yeah,
it was just so fun.
When you with a group of cool people, man, nothing seems like work, man. Everything, you know what I mean. You can have the most crappiest job that it would look like on the outside when you tell somebody, but when you're with your people, man, the crappiest job can still be fun, man. I remember cleaning the head.
Sweeping the grinder, sweeping the grinder.
Yeah. I remember being on the shit, man, and we used to have to clean the head in the morning. And it's like, that's a crappy job, man. Literally.
Unless you do.
But we would be in there rapping. Yeah, man, we would be in there rapping, and like, man, it was just craziest stuff, you know what I mean, that we did to get through. But
Scott, I ain't never been on them floaty things, but is it true there's always a fandom shower shitter? Does somebody always take a shit in the shower?
Yeah, there is.
Is that a real thing, bro? I'm just curious.
It's a real thing.
Damn, bro.
It's a real thing. And then there's always somebody who floods the toilet, man, to make it to where when we gotta clean. There's always that one. You know what I mean? And what do? You gotta clean it. So yeah, we make a way out of no way.
Go back to what Carmona was saying earlier. Let me find this comment he put up here. He said the first show was good. He wished we could talk about some of the hurdles that we overcame during our transition and what made you the professionals you are beyond the military. So I would love to speak on this.
Yeah, and I got you after that because it was rough. And I'll go ahead, Ty.
So, I mean, during my deployments, when we would come back, I would make sure that after dealing with me for a year, that my soldiers got what they needed and everything. But the biggest transition, I think, or biggest hurdle I had during my transition was just the fact from going for when you enter a room, like literally, like as basic as it gets, when you enter a room, everybody stands up. When you go into a meeting, I was a detachment sergeant twice, so when you go into a room, everybody stands up parade dress for you. When you get out, immediately you're really just another number, right? And you don't know what you're going to be doing. You probably don't have the job lined up. You're probably not in the city you're going to end up in. So the biggest transition I had was whenever I got stressed or angry, my soldiers said I would start cleaning everything, just throw stuff in the middle of the room and make them clean it up. When you're at home, that kind of turns into rage. So the biggest hurdle I overcame was rage. Having six kids, being in transition, trying to make up for time that I was gone with them. So a lot of rage. That's the biggest transition I had to come up with. Because I was so vigilant, hyper vigilant for so long while deploying, that was perfectly acceptable for me to be as intense as I was all the time. But it's not acceptable when you're going to Chamber of Commerce meetings or when you're dealing. And here's another thing. Yeah, you don't want to be that intense when you're working with civilians. You just can't be as intense as I think I was then. I'm not so much now. But anyway, I forget what I was going to say now.
No, but I think we're all in the same boat. I don't care what branch it was. It's the same thing. I remember, like, when I got out, and I think I got out the last of everybody on this call, right? So I got out July 1st. I hit my 2-year mark. So I've been out 2 years. But I remember, thinking the same thing. Like, everybody's going to be walking up to my door, beating on my door because I'm senior chief hero. I'm the man, the myth, the legend, right? Like, I've done all this. I've mentored. I've done so much, and I thought I did, right? I was a combat guy, and then I was a recruiter, and I've done so much. So I remember sitting in a line to pick up my daughter from school, and my wife sitting beside me and asking me, like, "Hey, when do you plan on applying for jobs?" I was like, "Bitch, first of all," I didn't say that. She might hear me out, but I was like, "Woman, right? Don't worry about me. I'm senior chief hero. I'm gonna get a job." Right. And I got out, and I got a first job offer to be a armored truck security guy at like $15 an hour. Then I got hired on at the call center for like Matt Johnson was blowing me up like, "Hey, bro, you could do this. You could sell this insurance or whatever, right? Or whatever it was. You could be a mortgage guy." And I'm like, "I'll do that." And I tried to take the test, and I wasn't smart enough. I couldn't pass the little. I was like, "You know what? I don't even want to do that." Right. So it was tough because I really felt like nobody, like Ty said, when I was in the Navy, you command the room. You have a commanding presence. You walk in, and I'm high strung as it is already, and I'm pretty much the exact same way all the time. And in the Navy, it was the same thing. But I remember stepping out and stepping into a new world, and I think Scott hit on it earlier. Like, it's a big world out here where I felt lost, and I felt like, what am I got to, I didn't listen to anybody. I didn't do my disability stuff like I was supposed to do before I got out. So now I'm working this, and I'm getting my little baby retirement check and thinking, holy shit, we're about to be eating, and I love some Spam, but we about to be eating Spam and rice every day, right? It's some Vanna sausages, saltine crackers. It's about to get tough. We no more Kool-Aid, babe. We buying the Flavor Aid. We ain't doing no more Kool-Aid, right? So it was scary, and I remember really worrying about it. And then, with all the mental health stuff I had already dealt with, it just compounded because I thought, I'm out of the Navy now. I don't need medication. So I just took myself off. You know what I mean? I watched a video on YouTube. I'm a doctor. I'm stopping this shit cold turkey. So it was a weird transition, and it was tough, and it was hard. And then finally I got lucky, and a guy named Gary Walker, who works with us now, he came out and was like, "Hey, bro, you want a job?" And he really kind of saved me from this hole I was in, pretty much sitting in like, holy shit. And, it's been great ever since. And now the transition's been easier. But in the beginning, man, it really felt like it was me against Tupac, bro, me against the world. And it really, really felt like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Shit, I fucked up. I shouldn't have got out of the Navy. Like, maybe I should have stayed in, or maybe I should have done. And it sucked, man. It sucked, Ty. It was white knuckling it for a little bit. And then everything finally worked out, but it only worked out, to be honest, because of shipmates and Marines and Army buddies that I served with and fought with alongside, who reached out and reached down and said, "Hey, bro, here's my hand. Let's go. Let's run this shit. Let's go. I got you." Pat me on the back. We got it. Dust me off. Shine your boots back up, baby, because you're back in the game. And that's kind of what Gary did. He was like, "Hey, dude, I got you. You ain't got to shine them no more. I got you." And that's what happened. Another military buddy was like, "Got your back, homie." And that's kind of what it was. But it was fucking terrifying. Like, my wife's gonna leave me for the guy who's delivering the Amazon package.
Right.
I got him on camera. He's a good looking dude. I was like, shit, bro, skip his house. You drop a package off next door, right? But no, it was tough.
But it's even like now, you know what I mean? When you look at this podcast, this Triple Threat Best podcast, you know what I mean? We still pulled each other back. You know what I mean? Even afterwards. It's just like you know, it's one of those things, it's the lifetime friendships that you build within that no matter what, you know what I mean? When it all comes down, you're gonna go to what you know to go to. And then when you talk about how big the world is on the outside, you think about like how many people in the world we could have did a podcast with, but when we come here, it feels at home because we're your brothers. And none of us have the same mother, but we have the same mother because we're brothers from another mother, but we pull together and it just fits. We just kind of understand each other, no matter what we look like or where we come from. It just kind of fits, man. So
that's what I'm talking about, Scott. Absolutely.
Well, I think too, though, when you look at guys, to go back on the question of like what's been what helped you get where you are post-military. So, I mean, the military does one thing and they do one thing really great. They bring you in and they teach you how to do the job. Because that's all you're there to do. You're there to do the job they need you to do. You're there to do it very well. And they put everything they can into you being the most effective soldier, sailor, Marine, or airman that you can be. The thing that they don't do very well is prepare you to get out of that, right? And so the problem is, like for all of us, I thought I was going to get this crazy good job because I worked in HR in the Navy. No, I didn't. I sure didn't. And that's not true. And so when you start to go to apply and you keep hearing from a whole bunch of people that you're overqualified to do a job, like you're overqualified. Then what I used to find personally, and this is for me, when you do those interviews with people and they tell you you're overqualified, I used to wonder, like, do they think I'm going to take their job? I think they think that I want to like excel this ladder again. And in a lot of cases, guys are just looking for a job. I was just talking about it. I got to find something. But what I found too is the same with Al. Like if you stick with your veteran community, the thing I think that's helped me come out to where I'm at right now and help me grow into where I'm going to be is I've stuck with that veteran community, right? Those guys that have gone, it's just like joining the Navy or joining the Army. Like when you get in, you have your mentor. The Navy calls it a Sea Daddy, Army battle buddies, right? You have people that have already gone through all that stuff. And they pull you in and they go, hey, let me show you how to do this. And then you learn very well. When you get out, what we don't do very well is stick together. Like everybody goes in their own separate way. And there's so many ways to do that. And it's just things like this podcast, looking for veterans in your local area. But you've got to stick in that community. Otherwise, you're going to be lost.
Yeah, but to that point, Matt, it's funny because, and I'm sure everybody on this that's watching and everybody and us on this podcast, when I have issues and when I'm stressed or I need somebody, it's funny. I don't reach out, and I work in the corporate world now. I've been there for almost 2 years. I don't talk to anybody in corporate world, right? I don't talk. I reach out to Scott or you, or I'll call Ty, or I can call any of the guys I serve with. My battle buddy Lonnie Martinez. I can call that dude any time of the day, and he answers the phone call, and we can wrap it up. That was my whole problem with the mental health system is I was so anti. I'm not going. I don't want to talk to this little lieutenant or JG who's never been where me and Ty have been or done what I've done. They're never going to get it. And the truth is, you don't. If you're like me and you push back and that's not you, I still had people I could reach out to who had been downrange or like Ty. If I called Ty tomorrow and was like, bro, I'm having a rough day, guys like Ty, Sean Sand, and there's 100 people that I can call who pick the phone up, but they're all veterans. They're all guys that served or served with me who answer the call and say, bro, let's talk through it. That's what I think I missed the most when I retired. Like, is that connection, that camaraderie. And it's pretty awesome that I get to work around guys that I serve with and guys that I respect. Matt Johnson, I know, you talked about yourself earlier, but I'd like to just throw a thing. I mean, Matt Johnson was the guy who got me to go for it and, trained me and taught me because, I'm a fighter. I was punching sailors in the faces. Like, what'd you say, bro? What'd you say? Like, I'll fight you, right? And, he reeled me in. It was like, hey, there's a better way of doing things. Like Ty said, you can't knife hand everybody in the world, but you had buddies who could reel you back in and say, man, it's going to be okay. And it's been nice to have that again, even on the civilian side, on the other side of the fence, to have people you can talk to and that will pick the phone up and just say, buddy check, how you doing? Warrior check, how you doing? So it's been cool from that aspect, working with Scott, you guys, it's been pretty cool. But yeah, it's a different world out here. It's different.
Way different.
I can't cuss as much. I hate it. I can't knife hand you and cuss you out, right? Some bullshit. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, they have rules, man. You have to follow rules, and
old school Xbox counseling.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Or what would y'all call it, Scott? The fan room? Fan room counseling? Is that a real thing in the ship? Fan room?
The fan room is a real thing, but it wasn't for counseling.
It was just like they had Jodeci playing in the background.
Yeah, one-on-one mentorship.
Yeah.
But I don't know nothing about that. I'm just saying. I heard from somebody who heard.
Yeah.
Ask y'all a question. Since you're now the military, there's let's see what Megan asked. What does it feel like to be out of the military? What does it feel like to be out after being in for so long?
Jeez.
Oh, that's a good one, Megan. That's good. Megan, you trying to help us?
Yeah.
Megan, I got 2 GEDs and a low ASVAB score. That's a tough question. Okay.
But you know what?
Well, I was looking at the question before I put it up there, so I've already got an answer. So I'll
go ahead.
So, I mean, here's what I noticed is probably tonight I realized that the 4 of us were probably the go-to guy in our units. I realized that I was extremely competitive from the time I was a toddler all the way until now. I'm extremely competitive. What are your experiences with the GI Bill? I can answer those questions.
So can I, because my wife's stealing it from me right now.
So where was I? So we're probably the best people. I think the people that served with me would know that I always wanted to be the best, and one of the greatest prides in my entire career was an NCOER by my battalion XO out of White Sands says I was the #1 Sergeant First Class out of 29 Sergeant First Classes, and the Sergeant First Classes were combat engineers. And I was of course, at the time, a 25 uniform and a 29 Echo crew master gunner. So I remember me being #1. That was like the greatest memory I have in the military. That was my greatest achievement, even though I did things that were probably way better than that. For me personally, being in a combat arms unit, deploying with that unit, and then coming back, and then my senior rater saying that I was #1 out of 29 Sergeant First Classes, single greatest thing ever. So I say that to say this. What I realized after being the big fish and in the really big pond in the military, I realized when I get out that a lot of the shorthand talking, when I go to talk to somebody, I've already assessed everything that's going on there in this entire conversation. Whether I'm talking to someone at a music venue or, I've already looked at the exits. So all those stereotypical things you've done. So I found that small talk is extremely difficult for me. So that's another reason why I want to do this, because when I just sit and talk to people, I can talk about myself all day long to them. But when it comes to like interactions at work, that's another hurdle that I've had to overcome, because I have developed such a shorthand of talking. Shorthand of talking that communication of small talk is difficult for me. I can't do it because I've already figured out what I want to happen, how I want it to happen. I've already assessed the full situation of what's going on.
I've already got it figured out.
I know who's going to do this.
Just do it.
Really. It's like that with the VFW. It's like that with everything I get involved in. I will militarize anything that I get involved with, and that's a big hurdle to get over.
Yeah, I know for myself, one of the biggest things I had to get over was I never knew how much I didn't like being alone, right? So for me, when I got out, what I thought I just wanted the time to be on my own and have my own space and kind of get away from people needing you or things needed to get done. Man, my kids would go to school, my wife would go to work, and I would be at the house by myself. And I would find myself walking around trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Like I became afraid of that in a sense. Like it was like what do? I was fixing stuff. I'm changing lights. I'm changing light sockets. I'm finding things weird to keep myself busy, because for so long I knew I could come to work. I can go down the hall. I can talk to Matt. I can go talk to Leroy, Greg around here. Somebody's going to come in and say, "Hey, Chief," you know, that those kind of things are going to they were going to happen. But when it's gone, it was a big void for me, sitting around and feeling like nobody needed me anymore. Right. So it was a weird loneliness that I felt, you know what I mean? So I had to find something to do. And now here I am back working with my military buddies again. And it's we do our job, and then sometimes we get up and we talk amongst ourselves about stuff, because that's our go-to vent. You got to vent to people who kind of understand where you are. So for me, I don't know about you guys, but that's being alone was something for me that bothered me a lot.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't alone for me, Scott. It was like, I mean, that was a problem too, but my problem was I felt like I didn't have a purpose anymore, right? Your drive and the purpose is gone, right? At one point in our careers, you feel like you have a mission, you have a goal. Every day was a goal. Every day was a mission. Every day there was something to achieve. And then all of a sudden, like, you feel like I got this little job, and it's a great job, right? It can support my family. However, I don't feel like it's my purpose. I don't feel like I'm excelling, or like Ty was saying, I don't feel like I'm going to be the best, or not even that. I don't have the opportunity in this place to be the best, or to be the number one guy, or to be whatever. Right. So I felt like when I first got out, like, I didn't have purpose. I had lost purpose. And I didn't know what I was going to do. Right. And then, even though I had my family and I have children, which is the most important thing I can do in my life, is raise my kids to be strong men, and strong women. I got a daughter. Right. So, but I felt like I had lost purpose. Right. I just didn't feel like I was going anywhere, had any direction, or no, I still had the drive and the hunger and that warrior inside of me, but I didn't feel like there was anywhere to use it. Right.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think the biggest thing though is failure, right? When you're getting out. So there was a lot of times when you're looking for jobs, when you get out of the military, you rewrite a resume 300 times. That's a pain in the ass.
I stole yours.
But here's the thing. When you find someone that knows what they're doing and you can copy that, you can still framework it the same way. When you find what works, that's what we were good at. This works. Let me show you how to do it. And then everybody else can do it. And we were successful.
No, I just took the name off of it.
Oh, that's okay. We did the same thing, kind of. But when you get out and you're going to all these jobs and they tell you that, you don't get a second interview, you're not doing it. I went to job interviews where I sat in the room and they told me I was the best person they talked to, but they were going to go with somebody else.
Yeah, I've had that.
I can't figure out what I'm doing. There was a time when I got out, and I was like, did I waste time staying in the military for that long? Like, I should have got out a long time ago, and then I wouldn't be going through this. But then, my wife kept telling me I was dumb for saying that. First off, like, you're an idiot. Like, I can't believe that you just said that, because that's
nailed it.
But I mean, it's like, you feel that way though, right? You don't know how to, what's the word for it? I don't know how to express that to you, that I can't figure this out. I've never not been able to figure it out. I always had a way to be able to do that. And so I think coming out, for me, that was the biggest hurdle. But then, like Scott said and Al said, right, for us, you meet people that are doing things and they give you an opportunity, and then you jump in there. And now not only are you able to support your family, but now you're also kind of back into that world that you understand. And it helps you to, start to communicate and do those things. So for me, it was like feeling like I failed somehow because I couldn't, find a job. So then I started doing all these odds and end things. I still do all that stuff now. Because for me, I also felt like there's more I can be doing. I'm not doing enough. I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do more, So for me, that was the biggest hurdle, trying to get over it. And to be honest, still trying to get over that, right? Mm-hmm. There's always more stuff I can do. Like, what more can I do? What more can I take on? And so that's the struggle.
Man, listen.
Hey, Will, that happened like
I think you're reading my mind.
Yeah.
First of all, Will, I'm still there, baby. I'm still there.
Week 3 for me.
I just don't run no more unless somebody's chasing me. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen.
I always tell everybody that You know, they say, "Why do you have back problems? Why are you in so much pain?" You know, and all that kind of stuff. And I say, "Man, look, it's hard being this good right here. That's why I got so much back trouble. I carry some motherfucking greatness over my career. That's all I'm.
That's right, bro.
I don't know. Should I feel away about the plastic I saw on the top, or is that just lets us know that you keep that?
He's got
that covered up.
Hey, Ty's got his stuff still all ready to go in the closet.
But you saw the plastic over the top.
No,
Al can go get his uniform right now, put that on, and go to work tomorrow.
Don't make me grab it. It's right here.
No.
I got mine in the closet.
Mine's ready to go. If I get called tomorrow, if they say, "Hey, we need a shit talking short, crazy son bitch to jump back in the shit," I'm like, well, now it might be a little tight around the dad, Bob, but it's gonna look. I'm gonna be okay.
Al basically last day took it off, hung it in the closet, hasn't touched it. His stuff, it's all lined. It's
all put together.
I still got my shirt stays on it, all that.
Your son's got jokes.
No, I never do that, Austin. But it looks like you like to wear yours in a profile picture. So
ask your girlfriend, Austin. She'll tell you.
My uniform has been about 6 years. I got
Austin,
got it shaped round.
Yeah. Ask your girlfriend, Austin. All of us, we all have been with her. So just go talk to her. She'll tell you how our uniforms look. You son of a bitch.
Hey, you know, Chief Carmona, I've always had those relaxed grooming standards when I deployed. You know that. Kept a beard.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Actually had a. Hey, Will. I actually had a beard. I had a no shave shit in the Navy. I didn't have to shave in the Navy, bro. So I milked the system. You know, it's good to do. You know what I'm saying? Go in there and be like, "Hey, I got bumps on my neck," and they're like, "Here you go. Take this with you. Thank you."
Like, oh man, it works. That's all you gotta say.
I gotta let the cat out the bag, man. Man, I'm proud of you, man, because I knew how hard that was for you to talk yourself up, man. But you did it, bro. I was sitting there, I'm like, my man did it. You came through again in the clutch, man. I know that you was kind of stressing about having to just talk about yourself, but you did good, man. You didn't, you know what I'm saying? You didn't disappoint me again, man.
Well, thank you.
I'm proud of you, bro. Yeah. You know, shouts out to Matt Johnson, man. This feature senior chief of the podcast, episode 2. You know, big dog story, big dog. There you go.
Oh, little baby. Look at that little baby face.
Look at that little thing, man.
That was an iPhone 3 picture right there.
Where are your lips at, man? Go back. Go back. You ain't got no lips, man.
They're on his Master Chief's ass.
Jokes.
You're looking good, though. I don't know why you're laughing out, hero.
Look like you do.
Hey.
This picture.
Yeah, hey, keep that up, man.
Don't keep that up, bro. That's bad.
Hey,
What's going on?
you look like you got bailed out 3 hours before and then got taken out.
Yeah.
My
Hey,
nose,
he's like,
This picture.
no, you know what he looks like? He's like, what do you mean there's no sauerkraut?
hey, first of all, my nose was like I could snort like a damn Olympic-sized line or whatever, bro. What's going on in that picture, bro?
Oh, man.
Shrink that up a little bit.
Oh,
Damn.
my God.
Yeah.
What about this?
Oh,
man,
baby.
Put that away.
Look at
Put
that turtleneck on.
Put that away.
I got the turtleneck on.
Yeah, you know, yeah, that was back. That's the ATL days right there.
That busted condom neck on. Look at you.
Turtle.
Yeah.
Hey, for real,
Get that cute mustache. You was cute, Scott. I'd have hit it.
Had that little mustache. Yeah. Hey.
What you talking about?
You would have to fight. I'm not that easy. I'm not that easy. You would have to fight.
Hey, wait. Does this rag smell like chloroform?
What'd you say, Ty?
I was about to say I was extremely proud of Matt, but I don't want to cut off our hero if he's about to throw a zinger at us.
No, he's good.
We're good.
Good, man.
No, I do. I love you, Matt. Hey, oh, you love
You guys too.
You didn't talk. I mean, I'm telling you. I know we all know it was tough for you, you know. But I tell you what, you were a stud, bro. You were a legend. You ain't shit now, but I mean, back in the day, bro, it was the truth, man.
I don't think anybody now is a legend, right? We're a legend in our own mind, you know. But it's good to be around people like and just meet back up with them, right? Like I served with you, Scott. I served with you, Al. We connected back after, but I met Ty at a VFW convention.
Yeah.
When I was working for the mortgage, And I just walked up to him and I was like, "You want to go eat lunch?" We sat down and ate lunch, and then here we are. Like
Right.
the connection that I like the most now in retirement, now that I've kind of figured out how to kind of be retired, is when you go to all these events and you meet other veterans and you just start talking. And it's like I don't know you, but I know you.
Right. I know.
But being a chief and going into a chief's mess anywhere in the world, and you can walk in the door and immediately you have something to talk about. And it's the same thing with veterans. And the best part is allowing them to share stories with you and talking to them and hearing them out. And sometimes being the person, just let it out. Just let it out. You don't even know me, but let it out and get there. That's what we're here to do now. We're here to keep moving and keep those guys around, right?
You, Matt, you mind if I wax poetic here for a second?
Sure.
All right, cool. So let's see. Add this here. There we go. All right. So some of the things that I wanted to talk about are the comments that we get in. You know, people are going to ask us stuff, and it's going to elicit some thoughts, and it's going to elicit some memories that we may have that can literally help somebody right during that time. Because if someone is going to take enough time to ask a question in the comments, they probably want that question answered. So if there's questions that come up during the time that we can answer and it can help, then that's part of the benefit of this podcast. So what I would challenge some of you veterans to do, maybe you've just got out, maybe you've been out for 6 years, maybe you've been out for 20, try to read about some of the other people, some of the other warriors that chose a different path. This guy, Vincent Vargas, some of y'all may know him. He was served with the Rangers in the Army, so automatically I like him. And then he got out and went to the Border Patrol, but then did some special ops stuff with the Border Patrol and things like that. And then, of course, he became an actor and got on the TV show Mayans. So I'm not read this book yet because I think it comes out in September, but I am going to pre-order this book. This guy's an awesome dude, does a lot for the veteran community, and so I just want to support him. So read this book, pre-order today. Another thing, they were asking what helped you in your transition. Well, people that know me know that I like funny stuff. Eddie Murphy probably is my biggest hero growing up as far as comedy, stuff like that. But this guy right here was an MP. His name's Drew. I don't know his last name, but he's called a combat veteran. And he had all those reels like pre-pandemic where he would just talk about stuff that came up, whether it be women in combat arms, whether it be the leave policy, whether it be how many deployments we had or not having sappy plates or whatever it was. He would literally make fun of everything. And that, watching him with all those reels that I probably watched a million times, that literally helped me in my transition too. So this guy's coming to Houston, 22 July. I'm going to be there. I already bought a pass. And I would suggest if you want to support some other veterans, go out and see this comedy show. It's going to be at the American Legion Post 654 on 22 July. I'm going to be there. Maybe come holler at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as always, Matt, can you cover Project Zero?
Yeah, so Project Zero is a nonprofit in the Houston area, and their mission is to help veterans and first responders that have mental health issues, PTSD, things like that. The ways they do that, as you can see on the screen, is they do overlanding and they do shark fishing. And so they put together a lot of events for veterans and first responders to go out and just be around other veterans and have that therapy they have when you're around people that are like you. And so our company, Got Your Six, has partnered with Project Zero. It's not on this calendar right now. You can see the events they got coming up, but Got Your Six is doing a golf tournament in September on the 11th this year. And all the proceeds from that golf tournament go towards this organization. We love these guys because they help first responders and veterans, which is huge. Veterans need a lot, but we got to make sure that we keep the first responders in our thoughts and prayers as well. When you're looking at law enforcement, EMTs, and firefighters, they're all out there protecting the community. So a lot of you guys have seen on the screen today, the same flag, same oath. We just got to go with that mindset all the time. Whether you're a first responder or a veteran, you've taken an oath to protect your country or your community. And so we got to make sure that we stick together and go through that. But these guys at Project Zero, if you're a veteran or a first responder and you're looking to get around other veterans just to get away, or you just need somebody to talk to, jump on their website. Just go to their website. You can sign up for these events. It's free for you. All you got to do is get there. That's it. And everything else is taken care of. Their whole goal is just to connect you with people just like you. So check them out.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to this one time. Let's see, who is it that asked? Sean Newhouse. Where's that American Legion post at? Right there's the address, buddy. American Legion Post 654, 3105 Campbell Road. It's going to be at 8 to 10 o'clock on 22 July. Sean Newhouse, you're going. Like, you made me read that out loud. You're going with me.
Carpool.
We did the Project Zero. Oh, okay. Here's something. So anybody that knows me knows that I love music. I've been in multiple bands in my military career. So one time I was in Iraq in 08 and we had a band called Staph Infection, and it was literally the first release because that was a 15-month deployment. That was the first 15-monther I went on. So being able to have musical instruments shift over to us and literally have guitar, bass, drums, lead singer. Shout out to Phil Lenz, Lieutenant Colonel Phil Lenz, or Colonel Phil Lenz now. He was a major at the time. He played bass. He's like a thunder god. Staff Sergeant Jerry Hardy was the guitarist, badass guitarist. And then rest in peace, Wayne Evenrider. He was Master Sergeant Wayne Evenrider. He passed away a few years ago, but he was our lead singer. And we literally put on concerts there. So get out and see the stuff that you like. Like if you like to sit at home and listen to music all day long, that might be all right. But PTSD is an isolating son of a bitch. It wants to take you away from everything you ever do. So what I would implore you to do, if you're in the Houston area, give me a call. I will go see this band, the Kaleidoscope Project. They are they're and the Skins too, but the Kaleidoscope Project specifically. Guitar player, she shreds. Her name's Sadie. Guitar player, she shreds. Her name's Kat. I don't know the lead singer's name or the drummer's name, but I do know that they're awesome, and he does Led Zeppelin songs very well. So give me a call if you're in the Houston area. I'll go out to some of these venues with you, and we'll have a good time. Will Comona asks, how can you donate to us? Well, this is only our second episode, so we don't have anything set up for donations. I mean, I can tell you the cost. You're a chief. I know you got deep pockets. Be about, 350, 400,000, something like that. I don't know. All right. So we have the addition of Al Hero. That's about all I got for this week.
Yeah. So the new logo that we have has our man Al on it. You know, we had to do him right, man, and bring him in the right way.
Do it for the ladies, baby.
We got to do it for the ladies. The right way. So we got him in here, man. So you're gonna see a little slight change, but there it is up in the top corner right there. You see my man right there. I think he got the beard perfect.
Yeah, that's salt, baby.
Yeah,
and just so you know, this natural right here. This grows out just like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like this, perfect.
Okay.
You should create an OnlyFans for your beard.
On one of these episodes, we're going to talk about the OnlyFans. I have an OnlyFans idea that I'm going to pitch to the world, and we're going to talk about it.
Let me find this comment, man. Somebody made a comment about your beard.
Oh, they like nice face saddle. I know.
Urban Camo said, "I'll pet that luscious beard for all the bean marriage and Yuma." It seems seductive. I have no idea what that means.
I like you already. I'll let you pet it too.
Well, once again, man, I'd like to thank everybody who come out, watch the show. You guys supporting us. It's only going to grow if you guys show. So, if you feel like yourself or somebody that you know could benefit from hearing our stories or talking to us, man, please invite them to come on in, share it, put it on your Facebook page, put it on your Instagram, put it wherever you need to put it. But we'd love to have you. We're looking forward to making this thing as big as you guys want it to be. So give us some feedback, some insight, do's, don'ts, what we can do to improve, what you need, and we'll try to accommodate the best we can. Matt, appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to meet Ty. We got to meet Matt. I think we're going to meet Hero next, or myself. Who? Is it me?
You're
next week, baby. It's you.
You're next week.
Hey, bring your tissues next week. Bring your tissues.
Oh. Tissues for what? What are we using them for? That's what I want to know.
Oh, no, sir.
I mean, I'm just curious.
Hey.
I don't know. What do you want to use them for?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Tissue. I've got it right here. Y'all want some?
No, we good. No.
Mm-hmm. Any last comments, statements, motivators?
Thank you everybody for watching. Share it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you know somebody that, like Scott said, if you want to be on, just hit us up. You might even be on an episode. We'll talk to anybody that wants to have their voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Al,
next week.
welcome to the team, my brother.
Yeah.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, baby, good to be
Ty,
here.
as always.
Love you, brother. Love y'all.
Big Matt,
Yeah, next
DJ
time.
World T. Until next week.